Let's go over something called standard error of the mean. And before I begin, I'm using this in the context of AP Biology. I realize I'm not a stats teacher and I'm just trying to make this easy for my AP Bio students. Standard error of the mean is also known as just standard error. This is the measure of the accuracy with which a sample distribution represents a population. That's a lot of words. Let's take a look at this illustration. Standard error basically looks at how a sample represents the population. Because a lot of times in science, we don't have the time or resources to take every data point from everything in a population. So we take a sample and then see how accurate that represents the population. We typically use standard error bars to indicate how significant our data is. These are standard error bars. Usually they go with the average of a data set. Smaller error bars indicate more significant data. So that would be like if these are very close to each other. Larger error bars indicate less significant data. That means one of two things might be happening in that data set. This could mean there's a small data sample size, or there's just large variation in data. Now looking at our graph here, you can see these error bars are smaller or closer together than these error bars are. So what does that mean? Typically, when error bars overlap, we say that the data is not significant. We can see that these error bars are overlapping, so these two data points or these two averages are not significant from each other. When the error bars don't overlap, we can say the data is significant to a point. There's an asterisk there, which means there's a lot that can go on with this data. But again, basically when you see no overlap of these error bars, the data is significant. When there is overlap, the data is not significant.